I've been lucky enough to travel quite a bit in my life, and I can genuinely say that Melbourne is one of the great cities of the world. Melbourne is my adopted city for over 20 years now, so when you handle a watch that has the very name of the city you happen to really like, it better be good, right? I've reviewed a few Melbourne Watch Company watches on my website, and so far they've delivered attractive timepieces at very good value for money. These are truly attainable timepieces for any budget. Interestingly, and unlike what feels like every other watch company in the world, there's not been a proper dive watch as such in their arsenal, but that's about to change. And with some of the best diving in the world in Australian waters, it's very fitting. Even if all you do is play in the rock pools or the many awesome beaches of this country, this one is for you. Say hello to the Chelsea collection. If you like what you see in this review, I'd love a like and subscribe. Drop me a comment as well. It's always fun to hear what you think of these videos. If you're into watches, and I assume you are since you probably didn't come here to listen to my accent, you've probably noticed that all the brands are pushing out green dials at the moment. You can get the Chelsea in white, blue and black, but it's 2021 and we're into green now. There are some obvious influences from classic dive watches, but no need to name drop. Some of the best songs ever written use 3 chords, and they did just fine without being compared to each other. What stood out the most for me when unwrapping the watch is that rounded bezel covered by sapphire crystal. It's very attractive to me, and it's also fully loomed up, which we'll have a look at a bit later. I don't know about you, but my bezels aren't really used for any other purpose than fiddling with on the couch. Sure, you can time things, and you should, but each to their own right. So anyway, that means that the bezel has to feel right, since I'll be playing with it all the time. All brands feel different. Some are amazingly precise, but perhaps a bit clinical. Others are spongy and stiff. This one is quite stiff, but I assume it will loosen up eventually. Let's have a look at this dial then. It's a textured dial which adds a bit of depth, and it can change quite a bit depending on the light. I think it's a good move, and I like it more than a plain one. The next detail that might catch your eye is the red tip of the seconds hand, matched by the 200 meters print underneath the Chelsea logo. Regardless of your choice of color, you get the same red detail. I think it helps break up what could otherwise be green overload on this dial option. We have applied indices that are easy to see, and the simple hands are easy to make out regardless of the light. The logos and the placement of the date window is all spot on to me. What I would perhaps change will be the M counterweight. It's a signature feature of all their watches, and it doesn't look bad per se, but on a rather busy dial, perhaps a plain or no counterweight would be worth considering. All this goodness is covered by sapphire crystal, which is great to see at this price point. You shouldn't have to worry about scratches on this one. The Chelsea is powered by the Miyota caliber 9015, which is a high-beat automatic mechanical movement. It's on display, which is unusual for a dive watch. I often read comments about the point of showing these basic movements. I think, sure, it's no Erlangen, but the reality is that these entry-level automatic watches are often someone's first mechanical watch. And I think it's always a thrill to see the engine of your self-winding watch. If you're not fascinated by a tried and tested Japanese movement, then I believe there are plenty of forums just for you. Holding all this good stuff together is a stainless steel case with a brushed finish that should hold up well to scratches. I love seeing a signed crown, and the M logo really suits the easy to manipulate crown. The bracelet is well built with quick release bars. This is seriously useful for most of us, particularly with metal bracelets. They can be a pain to remove and reattach, so the easier the better in my opinion. If you do remove the bracelet to try it on something else, at least it won't be too annoying to get it back on. Okay, it's Loom time. It's great. It's super easy to make out at night. The bezel fades quite quickly, but anything else lasts really well. If you are in fact diving with this model, you will be able to show off your glow-in-the-dark watch to the manta ray support fillet bay. A watch hobby is expensive. It can set you back many thousands of dollars depending on the brand and model, and it can be a bit disheartening when you first start out. This watch sells for about $630, which is extremely attainable, particularly since there are often sales and promotions available. For your hard-earned money, you get a quality product, and I'd also like to point out great customer service, which is not a given even when paying 10 times these amounts. What I like most about Australia is that there's very little judgment here. There are obviously exceptions, but as a foreigner in this country, my experience is that you will be accepted if you're just a nice person. The Melbourne Watch Company makes unpretentious watches at great prices. The Chelsea is an attractive watch, my favourite so far from the company. You could wear it to the beach, bar, cafe or footy, and that is very Melbourne.